Alright you guys, BADGamersInc back here with another commentary for the first time in definitely too long, but as you guys can see, I have picked up Battlefield 4 for the Xbox One, and I will be posting more gameplays as such. Okay, I wasn't posting very much on the 360 because the graphics weren't anything to write home about. It really was not an upgrade over BF3, and I didn't feel the need to, have you guys weighed down by that when you can go out next YouTube channel, find some higher quality gameplay with graphics, probably more insight, more players available, more maps, new DLCs. Anyway, here we are with the Xbox One, and like I said before, I'll be back to uploading a lot more content. We are sniping M98B on Lancam Dam, one of my favorite sniping maps. This is the Domination. Alright, so I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One over the last couple days, and as for some of my first impressions of it, it's very good. It is a very good game. The graphics, obviously, a huge improvement. Performance, obviously, also very good. 60 frames a second for a lot of the time, especially for people who favor infantry-heavy maps like me. I think Battlefield 4 and DICE, they just really fumbled the release, and a lot of the stuff is out of their control. When they get bought up by a larger parent company like EA, and they're pushing this 2-year frame for every game to release, and when you look at a lot of the stuff they're trying to do with Battlefield 4 in terms of improvements and just the intense depth of the game, doing this in 2 years it was difficult, and I don't think anyone anticipated as many fumbles as there were going to be, but certainly a clean release is not in the cards, and that's not what's happened. But they've done a lot of the stuff right, and at the end of the day, this is a very good game, and I think once the patches start catching up, it'll be very much like Battlefield 3 was towards the end. It'll be very clean, obviously an improvement over 3, but it's getting there. That's the biggest thing. I got here actually after the weapons were rebalanced, and I know that was one of the biggest bugs that a lot of people really didn't like, so I'm very thankful for that. All of the assault rifles were doing carbine damage pretty much across the board, and it was a nasty couple of weeks there, but they got that patched up pretty much a few days before I got on, I think 5 or 6, so I avoided that cluster headache. And speaking of clusterfucks, 64-man Conquest on Locker, gotta love it. It is the new Metro, without a doubt, and I don't know, this map, it's got a few more passageways and stuff than Metro did originally, but it is just as much of a cluster, because people end up pushing just a few. You can either go outside and push that, or you can go down the middle and push one of those doorways, and 64 men, it happens. It's pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit much though. So back to this gameplay specifically, we're sniping here, as you can see, using the M98B with an M145 green laser sight, straight pull bolt, the works. Sniping, they really revamped in this game, much more than most of the other guns. I'd say if you play and pick up an assault rifle, it's very similar to 3. Pick up a PDW, very similar to 3. The reload feels, or rather the recoil, feels a little different, but really the gunplay is fairly similar, netcode issues notwithstanding. But sniping is the one thing, along with LMGs, although sniping more so, that has changed in this game much more than Battlefield 3. And it's very difficult, for one, especially on consoles. Now, you cannot track movement very well, and that's something you'll see periodically throughout the video. And anytime I'm trying to take even a remotely ranged shot, it's pretty much guesswork. I mean, you don't know if it's going to hit. Although, I guess DICE felt they needed to make changes to sniping, and they did. I am not super in favor of it. I felt like they had sniping for 3 figured out very well, but it's still got a decent feel, so I'll give them that. Moving on, let's see. Aim assist, good golly god. This one not so much sniping specific, but if you're going long range on someone and there's 2 enemies there, good luck. Whichever aim assist picks, that better be the one you're shooting at, otherwise you're not going to hit the other guy. And this is so often the case with many of the other classes as well. It's overpowered on console. Honestly, I played a lot on 3 without aim assist on at all. Those of you that watched my first montage, as long and boring as it was, that was all done without aim assist. Many of my hundreds of hours in that game were done without aim assist, and you can be very successful, but at the end of the day, aim assist does give you a pretty large advantage, and I think it just doesn't really have a place in the game too much. I think it takes away from the quality of the gameplay, takes away from the skill of the players. It gives you a crutch, and you end up getting screwed over by it, and you feel like it's not helping you. So, I don't know, it's a very depressing aspect of this game to me, but we live with it. That's where it's at. That's about where I'm at with that. Now, moving on to a more lighthearted topic, some of my favorite guns to snipe with. I'll be, I guess introducing some of my favorite guns with other classes later on, but start with the sniper class, definitely the SRR-61 Intervention. That gun is a beast. The sound, obviously, is just lovely and orgasmic every time you shoot. But next, after that, I'm using it right now, the M98B. And I was not a fan of this gun when I first picked it up. I really just plugged out a couple kills with it until I got the SRR, and then started using that pretty much exclusively until I upgraded to Xbox One. And now I'm really liking the B. Has good sound. They brought it up to 11 rounds. It only had 6 in 3. 10 in 5 if you're not counting one in the chamber for magazine size. But it's very good, and I actually have gotten a lot better trying to track motion, I guess we'll put it that way. It's hard to consistently do that, but we're getting there. On to setups. As you can see, I'm using that M145 scope, and that is my favorite scope for close range and medium range encounters. And I love what Battlefield has done with that scope in this game, because in 3, the crosshair was black in the middle, and the bold one was below it, and it was always very hard to tell which one you're actually aiming for. As much of a noob thing that is to say, that's really what happens when you're Twitch aiming, and it's hard to tell what you're supposed to be aiming for in the sight. But in this game, there's no mistaking it. It doesn't take up a whole hell of a lot of room on your screen. I prefer its look to, say, the PKA or the Chinese equivalent, the Prisma, I believe. But it just has a very good feel, and I like it, especially with the American snipers. For long range, I prefer a rifle scope 8 times with the rangefinder, and I'm not going to put on any barrel attachments there. That's stupid in either range. I don't really like the 20 or 40 times hunter ballistic. It's just excessive to me. And if you're playing in a situation that requires those, you're really just not helping your team. That simple. So moving on to best maps for sniping as we wrap up the video, I really like Lancam Dam, as we see here. It's got a lot of openings, and you can keep your engagements for the most part longer range. Following up that, Parasol Storm, and the others all pretty much suck. Sniping is very difficult in this game. Cannot be understated, and 16-1 for this round. Assist counts as kills included. I was very happy with that. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed some of those headshots, those nice shots. Going on a pretty decent streak there. Sniping, no less, on console. So, more content to be coming out in the future, you guys. You can definitely be expecting consistent content. No more months and a half off, and it's actually going to be legit videos instead of 30-second teasers. I am done with that crap. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is BADGamersInc, signing out.